Let's start the draft only 2.5 weeks away.
I know.
We kind of get to this point of the season in April where all of a sudden it's almost here. So you mentioned the narratives.
Right.
And I think what we want to do is kind of take a shot at maybe busting some of the narratives that have developed up to this point, pick them apart.
Right.
Maybe they deserve to stick around. Maybe they deserve to be kind of shot down a little bit. So we have 10.
Yeah.
10 draft narratives,
Right.
2.5 weeks till the draft.
Gotcha.
Number one,
Yeah.
no pun intended, Kyler Murray is going to the Cardinals.
I
believe
think,
it?
I do believe it. I believe it, one, because I think the love affair with Cliff Kingsbury is real on Kyler Murray. I think he knows this kid. He feels comfortable with this kid. When you start throwing out words of like, he's the number one pick in the draft and freak of nature, those are like subliminal messages of like Cliff Kingsbury, what he thinks of the guy in his mouth. And I know that was back in October.
Yeah.
But I think between that, I've heard about Cliff Kingsbury talking to people about the quarterback situation. And the people I know in the NFL, everyone seems to think it's Kyler Murray number one to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I don't know if Arizona definitely has that for sure, right away, but I think it's going that way unless they get some trade offer for a Josh Rosen.
That's the thing. Everybody in the top 10, like the message is always, we're open for business.
Right.
Call us. Do you think they're open for business there?
I do. I do think they're open for business, but I think it would take really a monumental type deal. A trade that just absolutely blows them away to go, okay, we love Kyler Murray, but this is such just an unbelievable amount of draft picks and assets that we can get here.
And the amount that teams have to give up to get there. I was talking to one team in the top 10, and he was like, hey, listen to what I would have to give up to get there.
Yeah.
The number of high picks for years you have to give up. It's hard. It's almost hard to justify.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to justify. You're going to be giving away a number of players and people who can contribute to your team for a lot of years to come when you give away those draft picks. And, of course, also you're losing the money of being able to have the draft younger guy on. Now you're going to have to sign a free agent who's going to be more expensive. So that's where it kind of messes with the imbalance of your team or the balance of your team. Murray is special, though. And that's, hey, again, if I was going to say one thing about Kyler Murray, what I don't understand, I see a lot of big boards where, okay, he's talked about as being the number one pick in the draft, but then when I get to top 50 big boards, he's number 8 or number 12. And that I don't understand.
Where would you have him?
Well, in any other year, when we're talking about a quarterback being number one, he's the number one player on the board. And it's not just because of the quarterback position on this one. I mean, again.
Maybe it's because the defensive line talent is so strong this year.
Maybe, and I understand that. But I don't understand him being so far down the road. When you're seeing a quarterback who you and I have played quarterback, we both, I think, would agree with this. We're seeing a guy where he'd go, I haven't seen too many people who can run like that in the history of the position like he can, right? Yes, I know the size is not perfect, but then as you and I both have talked before, too, the throwing is damn special,
really
too.
Good, yeah.
It's really good. And then the throwing on the run is special. So to me, I feel like people are either being biased or still locked onto their preconceived notions about what he was back in October and haven't come off that and taking for what it is right now, where he's the number one player in the draft.
He's your number one?
He's a number one. And then, the other thing that goes into this conversation with the trading out is the Rosen market.
Yeah, Josh Rosen.
It's the market. And it's who is it going to be that's going to make the play?
Okay, so 2 questions.
Yeah.
I want to see your feelings on who it's going to be. But first, what's he worth? If you're a team that wanted him, you're willing to give up what to get him?
That's a very good question. I think if I felt like our team was going to be a quality football team, I don't know if I would have a hard time giving away an end of the first round, middle first round pick. I think I could swallow that for a guy that you'd
give up first.
I think I would.
It kind of feels to me like I'm seeing.
It doesn't seem like that market's
second
there.
Or third.
I know.
Like a second almost might be a reach.
Right. I would say this much. If Josh Rosen was in this draft, I think his value is he's every bit as good as the top 3 quarterbacks we talk about as Haskins, Murray, and Locke. In fact, I would probably say from what I evaluated last year to this year, I think Rosen would probably be ahead of Locke and Haskins as far as if we just ranked them as they were coming out right now. So, yeah, I do think. Now, I don't want to give away a top 10 pick. So if you're a team like, let's just say the Miami Dolphins, who are right there on the edge of the top 10, and their team's not going to be very good next year, and we're not expecting it to be. There's a very good chance they could be in the top 10 once again. That's one where I go, I don't know if I'm going to trade away a future top 10 pick for Josh Rosen now.
Don't you think they could get him with their second, though?
Probably. And maybe you have to package some other picks along with it. Might take 2 2s, something like that along.
Or a good player.
Or a good player to go along with it. But yes, the market for Rosen is the big question. And the one thing that I've heard is the Redskins are the team who have had the most conversations with the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're the team that are hottest on this whole trade for Josh Rosen thing. I do think the New York Giants are involved, but from everything I've heard from people, league insiders and things like that, it does seem like the Redskins are the team that's most interested right now in at least making something happen with Josh Rosen.
Probably something that'll happen on draft night. The deadline will push it.
Seems like it.
You right?
Yes, and maybe you have to, if you're sitting with the Redskins, who I believe are the 16th pick, a lot's going to go on what happened before us.
Yeah.
If all 3 of those quarterbacks that we just talked about are gone, and now they go, damn, we don't want to take Daniel Jones at 16.
Right.
Okay, maybe we do need to make a move for Josh Rosen, whatever it may be. I could see that happening.
And the Daniel Jones
15th,
mention is a
Redskins,
deep tease for what's coming up at number 9 for our draft busters here. But it would have been a great first round just to watch anyway. With the defensive talent quarterbacks. The Josh Rosen thing, I think, takes it to the next level.
It does.
If it waits until then to go down. All right, at number 2. Nick Bosa is the safest pick in the draft. You buying that or no?
I'm buying that. I'm not going to just sit here and say hands down he's the safest pick, but he's in that conversation.
I don't like the term safe when you're talking about a top 5 pick. About 10 years ago, we had this conversation with a bunch of guys I was working with. Who's the safest pick in this year's draft? Everybody said, oh, it's easy. It's Braylon Edwards.
Sure.
How did that turn out? So,
I mean, not pretty.
This safe thing can almost be a hex.
Well, I get what you're saying. So what I would take it, though, is when we say safest, I don't think it's necessarily an indictment on what he is as a player. I think what they're saying when the safest is going, okay, his absolute worst is an 8-sack-a-year type of guy or a 7-sack-a-year type of guy.
Right.
I think that's at least that's what I took it as. Not necessarily that he's a slam dunk, going to lead the NFL in sacks every year, but saying I don't really see any downside. And a lot of times you do have bust factor with top 10 picks because, again, we've talked about this a lot. It's projections. It's, this guy has an elite trait, and I think it will translate to the NFL. Oh, it didn't translate because of this, this, and this, whatever it may be. But that's why bust happened in the top 10. And, I go Bosa, Quinnen Williams, okay? Hey, Kyler Murray's in that conversation for me.
You're number 1.
Yep. And
are you having the conversation for safest
I
pick?
think so, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the only thing that's negative about Kyler Murray, again, is size.
But there's so many other things that go into a quarterback being successful.
I get it. But, again, I just look at the checklist and go, good decision maker, accurate thrower, quick release, wants to stay in the pocket. And then when he gets out of the pocket, watch out. So I don't have any issues with that. Again, I would have a very hard time watching Kyler Murray and thinking, oh, he'll probably just be a backup one day.
Right.
I mean, I think he's a star in the league at some point. And then Devin White. Devin White's another guy I might throw in that conversation.
We're going to get to Devin
guys.
White.
He's on the list.
You want to save it?
Yeah, I'll save it. Go ahead.
Devin White's coming up at number 8 just before Daniel Jones.
Oh, good.
You're getting really good at this. You're getting really good at this half host, half analyst thing. All right, moving on to number 3. And these are draft narratives that we are either buying into or shooting down. Josh Allen is the perfect fit for the Jets at number 3.
Well, no, I'm not buying this one bit. And, I mean, I don't think it shocks you, okay? No. Okay, yes. But Josh Allen, okay, again, I don't necessarily love the specimen, the athlete. I know he had the sack production at Kentucky. I think the way he got his sacks at Kentucky, though, is not necessarily going to translate to the getting sacks in the NFL.
To that system for the Jets or just to the NFL?
To the NFL in general, I would say, for one. And then for number 2, the Jets are looking for a real edge pass rusher. And they're being talked about, one, as a team that's open for business for trading down.
Right.
So that tells me they don't evaluate the guy as a superstar edge pass rusher. Now, you've heard me say that before. Now, let me throw another thing, just connect the dots or, what we've seen in recent history. I'm going to throw 2 names at you here. Okay, I hear with Josh Allen a lot. He's Anthony Barr, okay? Well, I think
that's good.
It's good. But Anthony Barr played defense end in college football. Right. I mean, that's what he did. He put his hand down, and we had to project him to playing middle linebacker in the NFL. And I think when all said and done, I think if you look back at it, Anthony Barr's a really good football player, don't get me wrong, but I would question whether he was a top 10 pick. right? If I just had to go back and reevaluate it now and go, oh, okay, he's definitely a middle linebacker. I evaluated him as a top 10 pick because I thought, okay, he can play some stand-up linebacker, but he's going to come off the edge and put his hand down and be a force in the pass rushing aspect of the football game. And he's not that. So to me, that knocks you down a few spots. Vic Beasley.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another guy. Same thing. Play defense end. Okay, oh, damn, he can't do anything but speed rush in the NFL. What are we going to do with him? We're going to stand him up a middle linebacker. And, okay, yes, that's good.
So it's more the position that they're inside now instead of,
You're changing the position. It's a total projection right there from that. And
that.
the Jets don't necessarily need that kind of guy right now with C.J. Mosley as a middle linebacker along with Avery Williamson. They need that true edge guy, and I think that's why they're in business for trading down.
That was very well done. Of the three we've done, that was my favorite.
That was my best one? Okay,
so
good. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Number 4, Ed Oliver comparisons to Aaron Donald.
Ooh, they're real. They are real. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud either. But Ed Oliver is a freak of nature. 6'2", 287, Paul, the move around like that guy does.
Why
I gotta
does he
say
drop
it.
so much?
Well, because I think, again, it's a little bit of the projection thing. He played out of position in college. He's a 287 nose tackle in college football.
Yeah.
So he has moments of teams double team him, and he gets moved out of there. Okay, yeah, he's not perfect that way. So you got to almost project him at another position. He's got to be a 3 technique, play on the outside edge of a guard's shoulder, or maybe play defensive end in certain downs of distance. But I think a 3 technique. He's going to be that kind of guy. Again, I want to remind everybody, Aaron Donald is awesome, okay? I'm not trying to take away anything from Aaron Donald, but I want to bring up this fact while I pull up a stat real quick.
What are we looking at here?
Well, I want to look at Rams defense, okay?
Yeah.
So the Rams defense this year in football was 19th overall. You see them right here, right?
Say overall in yards or points?
In yards. So they're 19th overall in yards. And where are they at in rushing? Right here. So this is where they're at in rushing.
Yeah. 20th.
23rd.
23rd. Okay.
Right.
Isn't it a little misleading because they were up so much in so many games? I mean, those numbers, how many yards they gave up a game total and on the ground. I mean, most of the games they were up a couple touchdowns.
Well, certainly. Yeah, I mean, it's a valid point. But all my point is I'm trying to say, and I'm not taking away anything from Aaron Donald. He's the best defensive player in football. I'm just saying he's not perfect. He's not perfect. That I could show a lot of tape or plays on film and go, here's a double team on Aaron Donald, and he's 3 yards down the field.
Right.
And they just ran right at him for 15 yards right up the middle. So, again, not a knock. I'm just saying we all look for perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. Ed Oliver is an amazing, freaky athlete who is certainly one of the 10 best prospects in the draft because people that are 6'2", 287 that can move the way he moves, like a middle linebacker, just don't come around that often. Right.
And I think we're rating, or you're ranking defensive linemen with us sometime soon?
Yeah.
On Wednesday, okay.
Yeah. Are you working Wednesday, or is that a day off for you?
I've heard, unless you don't like something that happened here today, I've heard that I'm back on Wednesday.
Okay, good.
And it sounds like he might be your top defensive lineman when we get there.
I'll never tell.
It's just it's another deeper tease there. Offense. How about we go back to offense?
Yeah.
Number 5 narrative. We're trying to shoot holes in here.
Okay.
DK Metcalf, your number 1 wide receiver.
Right.
His top billing is based on optics and projection.
Yeah, true. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to fight back against that narrative. That narrative is true.
Didn't scare you away from
no,
having a number
it doesn't scare me away. It doesn't. Hey, sometimes you just have to go, okay, let's not over-evaluate this. Every time I turn it on, he can run by anybody that covers him. He's the biggest guy out there, and he has the ability to catch a short route and break a tackle and run for 60 yards up the sideline. And yes, I mean, and then look at the body.
Great.
So, yeah, he improved his stock by showing the physical specimen that he is at the wide receiver position, what he did at the combine. And, yeah, the production's not going to be perfect, but you know what else wasn't perfect? His quarterback at Ole Miss, the crappy freaking offense they played in. You know, it's not his fault the coach only taught him 3 routes to run his whole college career. So, yes, a lot of his games are projection. But one of the ones I feel pretty safe in projecting because I'm just not going to overthink some things like this. Man, when you're that big and that fast, and I can turn on a game like Alabama or some of the other games and go, okay, here's the first play of the game. I know which one he is.
Right. How are his ball skills?
They're very good. Yeah, his route running needs work. But again, for a guy that's 6'2", 228 and can run the way he can, I'm not going to go, I don't know. I mean, this guy, he's so freaky. I don't know if he can run a curl route. Right. Ooh, that might be too much to ask one of the freakiest athletes coming out in the draft. So let's not overanalyze. And again, it might not be perfect next year, but because of the great speed and physicality of the player, his choppy route running, he's going to get away with it because he's going to scare the death DBs out of going deep, like I talk about a lot.
From wide receiver, let's go to tight end. Are you ready to make a trip to Iowa City?
Oh, are you ready?
I know you want to. I know you want to.
I do.
We're going to get you back there sometime.
I'm a
back.
fan.
I mean, you've probably never been.
I've
been
for
the first time.
I've been to Ames, Iowa. It's not the same. No, it's not. And I've stayed close to Iowa City. Okay, but yeah, you're right. Gosh, I stayed I can't even remember the name of the hotel. No, I did not go hunting. Sorry, that's not for me.
You're not going to take the bait?
No, I'm not going to. No, I'm going to talk about that later.
Okay, tight end. TJ Hockenson is better than Noah Fant. What do you think?
Ooh, man, this is a close one. Okay. I'm going to say I'm really up in the air here. I've kind of gone back and forth with my projection here. But I think overall, yes, I'd probably say TJ Hockenson is the better overall football player. Now, does Fant maybe have a higher ceiling? Could be maybe more of a superstar in the NFL? Yes, because he has special straightaway speed, like a Jared Cook, who, anybody who watched the Raiders last year could catch a slant on the inside and run right up the middle of the field, not run safeties for 60-yard touchdowns. He can do stuff like that. He's not as Evan Ingram and Jordan Reed as I thought he was, Noah Fant. He's a little more of a straight liner, not as quick as I maybe initially gave him credit for. And he's not as physical as Hockenson. I think that's the big thing that I would just give Hockenson the overall edge. Yes, he's not the athlete and maybe quite the specimen, but it's not too far off from where Noah Fant is. But yes, with the run blocking, and I'll tell you another thing I look at is when he catches the ball, he's a little more willing to take and receive or even deliver out contact as compared to Noah Fant, to where I would just give him the edge there, especially at the tight end position where I go, you're going to have to catch some balls down the middle of the field where people are going to be beating down on you and want to tear your head off. And are you going to be able to handle that physicality? And I think Hawkinson's maybe a little more set up or ready for it than Noah Fant is at this point of his career.
Let's say you're a team, you're GM of a team picking 20 to 30. To take a tight end is kind of a luxury pick for you. You didn't think either one would be there. They're both there. You don't have to have either one, but wow, you can picture your offense with a wonderful tight end. Which one's your guy?
Fant's the guy there. I think if you have a tight end, you go, okay, like you're saying, and I think the scenario you're giving is we have good tight ends, nothing special. Our tight end here, whoever it is, he can do everything, but he's not like a special mismatch nightmare. I think that's when you go, you know what? Okay, Hockenson and Fant are on the board. We kind of have a guy similar to Hockenson already. Let's see if we can hit a home run with Fant and maybe get like a Jimmy Graham, a Travis Kelce, a Jared Cook type of guy who is truly a mismatch out in the field.
All right, let's go back to the other side of the ball. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. We're going to stay.
Who do you prefer, Mr. Iowa City?
Putting me in this position
I know. It's tough. It is tough. I mean, again, we're talking about two awesome players, so we're not putting anyone down here.
It feels to me like Fant is more likely to be that matchup nightmare that everybody's looking for. When you're done with the motion and the formations, you're ready to snap the ball, who's lined up on somebody he can beat? Noah Fant, probably that guy a little more right now. Hockenson, more the complete player. So I guess it all depends on what your offense requires. But if I'm a quarterback, I might want Fant a little more. If he's more likely to beat that sixth defensive back who's on the field, or the half safety, half linebacker.
There's definitely more sex appeal there.
Probably the guy. All right, at running back, this is the narrative. It's Josh Jacobs from Alabama, and then everybody else.
True.
How close is the next guy?
I mean, if Josh Jacobs goes in the top 20 of the draft, I would have no problem with that. I would think Josh Jacobs goes somewhere between, let's say, 15 and 25 or somewhere in that range. I don't think you're going to see any other running back come off the board until I'm going to say somewhere around pick 4, somewhere between 40 and 60. So he is in a class of his own. Josh Jacobs is different in this aspect. One, he's an Alabama running back who doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body. It's amazing. I mean, to the point where I watch film at times and go, wait, why is Damian Harris still in there? Is there something about Josh Jacobs that I don't know, that they're not playing him more? I don't know what that is, but either way, it's a good thing going forward for his career. 2, hey, I understand there's things about, his 40, he ran a 4.6 and all that. Hey, don't forget, he came off a groin injury at the end of the year, so that was something he had to deal with in training for the 40 and doing all that. Also, I think you've heard me say this, I just don't give a damn what his 40 is.
Right.
Because when you're breaking everybody's ankles and out running everybody to the corner for a touchdown every week in the SEC against guys who I see run the 40 who are running faster times than him, but he's outrunning them, I'm a little less prone to care about it. And yes, I think he stands alone. He's a more powerful Alvin Kamara. That's what I look at him like.
Wow.
That's what I look at him like. And I was all over Alvin Kamara when he came out. Same thing. Didn't have enough carries either.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Can he catch even close to that well?
He can. He can. Wow. From everything I've seen, he has the ability to be, okay, first and second down between the tackles, third down, we could put him in the slot, or, we'd leave him back here by a Drew Brees or whatever, and we could throw a screen to him. He is really versatile, really dangerous football player.
So someone in the teens is going to get a steal.
I think so. I think it's somewhere in there, somewhere between 15 and 25, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's stay with the same idea about the top 1 or 2 guys, where they are, and then like a giant perceived divide between them and the next guys. This one's at linebacker. At linebacker, it's Devin White and Devin Bush, and then everybody else.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I mean, I would even say, and again, the Devins, per se, that combo right there, they are in a class of their own, and I think Devin White is probably even another notch up in his own class to a degree. I mean, Devin White, you heard me say earlier on, he's one of the safest picks in the draft for me. He's better than Roquan Smith, who came out last year, in my opinion.
Really?
Who was a top 8 pick. Yeah. I mean, this he's like watching that kind of guy, or Reuben Foster when he came out. I will not be surprised if Devin White goes in the top 5 or 6 picks of this draft.
And he wouldn't be overdrafted.
He would not be overdrafted. He is an every down, 3-down linebacker, can cover Travis Kelce up the seam, and then can go tackle Alvin Kamara in space, and then take on a truck like Marshawn Lynch in the hole. He can do it all. He is phenomenal on film. Speed, athleticism, disregard for his body, which is important. I'm sorry, when you're a middle linebacker,
you got to have some of it.
Yeah, I want to see hesitation. You know what I mean?
If he's that good, how big is the gap between Devin White and Devin
Bush?
Yeah.
So, like Devin White, I think, is that kind of guy that could be the top 7, top 8 pick somewhere. I wouldn't even be shocked if the Giants at 6. I mean, gosh damn it, the Raiders at 4 took him. I wouldn't sit here and go, oh, wow. Now, the Raiders have filled some of those voids at linebacker to where I don't think they need him anymore, and they can go other positions. But I think Bush is another 4 or 5 picks down from that. Somewhere early teens. No, it's not much. 14, 15, somewhere in that range certainly could be. I mean, Devin Bush is really freaking awesome, too. They both have rockets up their butt. And they
That's
both
a first.
They are. It's unreal how they can run.
How they can go.
Yeah, they're good.
We were on the field when Devin Bush played against Notre Dame. I mean, that's
special.
Looks like a running back to me when he's out there going sideline to sideline.
I think he's 4.43, which is insane at that position.
All right, quarterback. You teased it earlier. Whether you knew it
I didn't even need to tease it.
Daniel Jones is a first-round pick.
Hey, this is something I'm going to push back against. I'm just not in the Daniel Jones. I'm in the Daniel Jones, I don't see it on film camp, okay? And again, I hate to say this kind of stuff because I know Daniel Jones is a really nice kid, and he's definitely an NFL quarterback, and I don't want to just totally crap on some young man who's working very hard. But, yes, I have questions, and Daniel Jones, I hope you prove me wrong and shit all over me and tell me I'm wrong, okay, at some point. I'm all for it. I'm always –
And he truly is.
I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for it. I really am, because it's nothing personal. But, yes, on film with Daniel Jones, I don't get it. I don't think he's a first-round talent.
What's not there that you want to be there?
Well, I don't think I see special arms, special athleticism, nothing elite physically where I look at and go, okay – so if you don't have the perfect offense and system around him, what is he going to do? Daniel Jones, if he gets drafted by New England at the end of the first, will he have a successful career? Yes, but so will like 10 other quarterbacks on the list too. So that's not necessarily like a positive. But I just don't see big-time athleticism. I think it's a kind of a funky motion throwing the football. He lets his arm, as I would call, act as an independent contractor, okay? So where, and you know a little of this, you've been in the Simms school of passing to a degree, but when he throws, okay, you got me, Nicole? So he doesn't get any of this, Paul. Like, he doesn't get any, like, if anybody out there ever watches Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, when they're going to throw the football, they get in this position, right? They create an opposite between their upper and lower half. Daniel Jones keeps it the same all the time, and the arm just kind of whirly-bird windmills around, which, one, leads to very inaccurate throws.
Yep.
And two, does not lend itself to wow or power type throws.
Because you're not using the lower body.
You're not using the lower body. You're not really using the arm as a catapult, because what happens when you create opposites too, the arm now is, oh, I'm going to twist out of this, and the arm just lags behind and becomes a catapult. That's what a lot of the great quarterbacks do. He does not have that. So that bothers me. And you know what else bothers me? So we're talking about a smart quarterback who is going to dissect defenses, but he threw for 58% completion percentage. Damn, when Josh Allen last year threw for 56%, the whole world was ready to throw him out of the first round. And his offense was not orchestrated by an NFL offensive coordinator, basically, or a college guru in David Cutcliffe, who delivered these plays. So, yeah. Again, I don't want to make it personal against Daniel Jones. I just don't see first-round talent. I see more talent out of guys like Jarrett Stidham and Ryan Finley.
I was going to ask, which quarterbacks would you take before Daniel Jones?
Those two for sure.
Let's list them. So Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray,
Drew Lock.
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
Yep. I would go Finley and Jarrett Stidham.
Stidham from Auburn.
Yes. And then I would probably go to Daniel Jones, there, or Clayton Thorson, who I think is very similar in a lot of ways.
I think you like him even a little more.
Maybe. Yeah. You're right. And I think, and again, if anybody, Clayton Thorson, if you go out there and watch film from 2 years ago, you'll be a little more impressed than what you saw from last year.
Pre-injury.
Pre-bad ACL injury. So that's where I just push back against the Daniel Jones thing there. You know, like I said, guys like Jarrett Stidham, they have talent. Like, he made me say wow a few times a game, where I said, whoa, that was a nice athletic move, and whoa, that ball popped out of his hand.
Right.
Finley, I said wow because I went, whoa. I mean, it's just one nice, accurate throw after another with people around him in the pocket. Whoa, this guy's big and can move like this and throw in the run? Whoa. I didn't do that with Daniel Jones. Yep. So that, to me, does not scream first-round pick. Big thing there with him, from what I hear from everybody, it's all the other stuff is off the charts, which I understand. And I don't have the privy to be around him on the board and do all that. But from like my friends and people I've talked to around the NFL, it sounds like all his mental stuff is off the charts. Yeah. His ability to process, the psychoanalysis, the Wonderlic, he must kick ass on all of that, which is going to make coaches feel warm and cozy at night.
Yeah.
But also,
how much can that make up for what you were describing as a fairly average skill set?
Yeah, no, it can make up for it if it's the right system. Like, hey, listen, if he gets in a place where the offense, they can, again, this is not a knock on Tom Brady, but we can watch film with certain New England games, and I can go, he dropped back 30 times, he completed 27 passes, and of those 27 completions, the first guy he looked at, he threw to 25 of the 27 completions. Right. So if your ability to process, your own play, the defense, what you're supposed to do with the coverage, the rules that apply there, if you can process that all quickly for a really good offense, he can be successful. But if you don't have that, I'm saying, what are you going to rely on? Because he's not going to make, it's 3rd and 12, and we can't get something going. We need a big play from our quarterback, and we need somebody to throw a howitzer, down the middle of the field to get the chains going and get some positive vibes for our team. I don't think he's the guy to do that.
Listen to what you're saying. It took me back to the first time I saw Tom Brady play in the field. I think it was the 2004 season. So they had won a couple Super Bowls. He was an all-pro quarterback, but there was still this notion out there that he was kind of self-made, overachieving, super smart, great system, but didn't really have an awesome arm or great physical ability. And when you're watching on TV, you don't really know.
Yes.
So I'm down on the field. It's a cold day in November. It's windy. And he was fitting balls in on 20-yard in routes and skinny post and throwing over the top. I was like, oh, my God, I had no idea that in addition to this great system, and he's well coached and he's smart, that he could throw the hell out of the football like that. And it was just an eye-opener for me.
Yes.
One, that you have to be there on the field to see it.
Right.
Number two, Don't listen to all this stuff about how people say, oh, so-and-so is just a product of the system. He's just a smart guy. A lot of these guys can throw the hell out of the ball.
No doubt.
And it, just like your dad will say,
yeah,
it is so much more important than people think. And if Daniel Jones can't do that,
right,
that's why I asked the question about how much could he make up for it. You've got to be so damn smart if your physical abilities are just okay.
No, it's a great point. Exactly right. And then I think to what you're saying too, and I totally agree with you. I mean, people think I'm a Tom Brady hater because I say Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback of all time, and I don't let Tom Brady off the hook for Deflategate. So I get a lot of crap from that. Tom Brady's the man, okay?
Right.
I understand that, and I'm a big Tom Brady fan, okay? I really am, and I don't care what anybody says. To what you're saying, his arm is special. It's people don't realize how special Tom Brady's arm was. You know, again, in his absolute prime, am I going to sit here and tell you that it was as strong as Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers? No, but it's the next group down. It's a special arm. I mean, again, you talk about the offense isn't working. How is he going to get it done? I'll give you a perfect example. Did anybody watch Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons? They took away all the easy bull cap throws that we see New England go. The second half, Brady had to fit into what you were saying, 20-yard comebacks on the sidelines, throwing piss missiles all game long. So he has, because of his length, and this happens to a lot of quarterbacks. I would throw Joe Flacco in this category, Ben Roethlisberger, because they're so big. And they can throw it with ease and still hum it. It doesn't look right on TV at times.
Right.
Because it's just, oh, there's Tom. He's relaxed and throwing a 20-yard comeback. And it looks like he's not putting any effort into it. But he's got giant hands. He's got long arms. His mechanics are really good. And the ball can pop out of his hand effortlessly to, yes, I caught balls from him in practice. And I knew just because I played against him, I was always like, man, Brady's throwing lasers. He's throwing lasers out here. And he doesn't get appreciated for that enough. Yeah.
Two guys who surprised me with that when I was playing catch with him. Number one, your dad.
Oh, yeah. The big guy can let it go.
Shit.
I know.
First time I played catch with your dad, like you go out to catch the ball right here, and it literally moves your body back.
Yeah. He throws a heavy ball, too.
Makes him feel good that he can still do that.
Oh,
I know
he loves it. He loves it.
The other dude who surprised the hell out of me, Doug Flutie can do that.
Oh, I know. Doug can.
Right?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Another guy with freakishly long arms. I mean, Doug can scratch his knees without bending over. And then he has huge hands. So just the lever theory in general allows him to throw the ball with less effort than maybe the normal Joey quarterback. It
was first time probably a couple of years ago. It was before Notre Dame game. It was me and you and Doug throwing the ball around. Of course, I knew all about Doug Flutie, but I always just thought he was just like this playmaking athlete, smart, can flip it here, can dunk it there. Wow, can he throw the ball?
He can throw it and spin it.
Comes out with the RPMs.
He does. I think through the, just the Hail Mary through at Boston College. That was 55 yards in the air, kind of on the move.
I think it was closer to 70.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting lost here in all the quarterbacks.
Don't worry. That's all right. That was a good talk.
We're going to stay with the quarterback stuff. This is the last, the 10th and final draft narrative. You can either agree or not agree. Not only could 4 quarterbacks go in round 1, but we could see 5.
I mean,
let's remove could. Do you think we'll see 5?
I don't. I don't think we'll see 5. I do think we'll see 4. I think and again, not that I agree with it, but it sounds like someone's going to take the bait on a Daniel Jones, or does somebody trade up late in the first round?
So much if you think they should.
Yes.
Do you think it will happen?
I think it will happen.
How many?
Because it's the quarterback position and it gets overvalued. But I'm gonna say 4. Excuse me, why I burp right there. Yes. I'm going to say 4, though. Because it is, of course, just a position of such importance in this day and age in the NFL. So, yes, I get it there. But to me, there's only 3 legit first-round talents, and that is Murray, Locke, and Haskins. But I always say this. For guys like, Daniel Jones or Ryan Finley or Jarrett Stidham, if they did creep into the first round and people go, oh, that's insane. Okay, that's insane. But, so was drafting Blake Bortles at 3. I know, and I know I'm the Blake Bortles hater of the world, but the reason I'm the hater is because I never saw a spiral or a good throw in college to where I thought it was one of the worst 3rd picks ever in the history of the draft. I mean, hey, if Christian Ponder, if he can go to number 10, or Jake Locker can go at number 11.
Blaine Gabbert.
Or Blaine Gabbert, exactly right. Or some of the guys that have been drafted over the years, those just to name a few, then some of these other guys are certainly worthy of being late first-round picks.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.